pray without ceasing. Huh? And even in that prayer in the Gospel of Matthew, he says this illustration is, ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door shall be open. That's what he wants us to do, and we should expect him because he's a faithful God. Even in the Old Testament, he says there will come a time that you can call upon me, and while you are calling, I will answer, and while ye are speaking, he says, I will hear, and say, ask, and it shall be given, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and the door shall be open. So when we look at the illustrations that Jesus is giving them, and he's talking about the prayer, the first thing I said was, number one was our prayer, and then our forgiveness. Okay? He said basically, our prayer should not just be for ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a such thing as intercessory prayer. Okay? Your prayer should be for all of your fellow men. Basically, pray for those in high places. Your prayer should be not just focused on you. That's not the purpose of it. And then you're looking at, basically, I said we was going to look at, because our time is going, we're going to look at application for activation in our precept book, and we're going to look at liberating the lesson in our precept book and remembering your thoughts. So when we look at basically liberating the lesson, it says many of us are tempted to spiritualize the meaning of give us today our daily bread as seeking a daily spiritual insight to feed our souls. However, this is not what Jesus was talking about. Okay? Make sure you process the information before you can understand it. The majority of people in Jesus' day, at the culture, okay, and even until the 18th century, okay, were food, and that's AD after the death of Christ, were food insecure, meaning they didn't know how or even if they would get their next meal. They were living in the United States where we waste food and have food to throw away. A nation of gluttony. Now you look around, somebody want to eat. It wasn't like that then. They didn't have all that much food then. Like I said, even in Mother Johnson's time and Milton's time and some of our time, didn't know what you was going to eat from day to day. But them folk knew how to go in there and get that old iron skillet and make a big old whole cake of bread and make some of that thick white gravy. It might not be what you want. But it was good. And it fills you up. Because we didn't have everything. It says, and while this is not a worry for middle and upper class America, there are many around the world and even in the wealthiest cities who are found insecure today.
Yeah.
We living in the richest world and have the poorest in the world. That's an oxymoron. It is. These people understand the necessity of praying to God to give them just the barest minimum of food for just that day. Those of us who have never had to worry about how to afford groceries must remember that this is only by the grace of God, our only provider. If we are so blessed as to be sure of having food in our pantries today and tomorrow, we can thank God for removing a terrible weight of worry from our shoulders. I don't think most people got to know what they're going to eat. They'll eat something. I don't care what it is, but basically, you don't have to worry about it today. But come on now, don't just take this metaphorically as literally food.
Yeah.
There are other things, but besides food, that people worry about, that you don't have to worry about. Your finances, paying your bills. There are a lot of other things that people worry about, that people that already have good jobs and money, they don't have to worry about none of this stuff. They take it one day at a time. Lord, my lights might get cut off tomorrow, but they own right now. There are other things. This is not just metaphorically talking about food. This is talking about provisions. whatever provisions that we need, that we depend on God for, instead of being independent and depend on ourselves, and we're going to go and take what we want because we depend on ourselves. I don't care if somebody else might have it. I'll go break in and take it because I'm worried about myself. I want to eat. I want to drink. I want to feel good. I'm going to go take it from somebody else. And that's what goes on.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Huh? They go take stuff from other people instead of depending on the Lord. Why? They don't have a relationship with Him. They don't have faith to understand if He can feed the birds. Come on now. You're getting ready for the changing of the season, aren't you? And even though all winter, all through the cold weather, when we look out, Sister Lisa, we see the trees and they are so dead looking. We look at the grass and the grass is so dead looking, huh? I mean, if you can just look at that, how are they going to come back alive? I can put fertilizer, but that's not going to bring them back to life. How can they come back alive? They can't do it on my effort. I got to depend on someone that's bigger than I am. So when summertime and springtime comes, God allows the sun to begin to shine, and the sun begin to shine on the trees, and the trees begin to draw the sap out from the ground, and photosynthesis began to take place, and all of a sudden you'll see the leaves turning green on the trees because God gave the trees a taproot system, and the taproot system goes so deep into